November 11th. The day that will live in infamy. We had put handles through the camper from the bed down the hall into the bathroom kind of thing, and one to get in and out of the camper. Just handles, because I knew my brother says you are not going to be able, you're going to be wobbly, you're going to need assistance, you're going to need handles. I'm like, got it. So we put those up. November 11th comes along. I have surgery. Apparently I was in there for 6 to 8 hours, 8 hours. Not really sure. I don't remember the first day. I have vague remembrances of it. I had the surgery early in the morning. It went to like noon or 2 or something like that. Back to the room, and they do these day rooms. You get moved to a room on the surgical where they take care of the surgical patients. But at first, it's like acute or something to care. Hooked up to a bunch of stuff. I had 2 IVs. That was a mess. I vaguely remember. I remember the nurse saying, "We want to see if you can stand up," and they had the walker, and I could not. I was dizzy. The whole place was woo. And so I'm up, sit back down, and I leaned up against her. Why does it hurt so bad? She's like, because you had major surgery to your back. And she hugged me. That was the best damn thing. And I remember it because she reminded me of my mother. My mother's passed away, but she was short, boobies, nice big pillows. And she, it's gonna be okay. You'll get better. I was like, she was a nice woman, that nurse. I'm like, are you going to be my nurse? No, you're going to move to the 5th floor, and then you'll get a different nurse. I'm like, but I like you. She was very to the point. I like people like that, like my mom. Nope, you feel this way because you had major surgery, and they put rods and screws in your back. It's going to hurt. Okay. Right to it. So what I remember, I have this memory of wanting, where's Faye? Where's Faye? Faye's my wife. Where's Faye? I woke up, it was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 in the morning, and I grabbed my phone, because my phone was there, and I called Faye. I think I called her. Why aren't you here? Why haven't you come see me? It's like second day, and you weren't here yesterday. She's like, I was there all day. I don't remember. She's like, oh, you were messed up and in pain and getting whatever they gave you during surgery, probably like fentanyl. They probably gave you that. You don't know shit when they gave you that. I'm like, okay. And she came in. I was so happy to see her. So that was day 2. Oh my God. Okay. This is one of the reasons I'm putting this out there. They said it's very painful. I'm like, okay, it's very painful. I've done very painful. I've come close to, taking off fingers, smash things. I had stitches in my head when I ran my head into a plate steel thing. Yeah, no pain. And I have MS. Now, it's been in remission for about 10 years, but I had MS that causes pain. They say, oh, MS doesn't cause pain. Bullshit. They now know, yeah, it does. Mine did. So, and I suffered from migraines. I know pain. I figured I could do this. Worst pain I ever felt in my life. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to the pain you will feel when you have a multi-level fusion. I want people to understand. I asked the PA when he came to see me, I'm like, why didn't you say it hurt this bad? He's like, 1, how do you tell someone how much it hurts? And 2, if we told you that it was going to be more painful than, giving birth, then you wouldn't do it. I had to do it, even if it was painful. Oh my God, did it hurt. Hurt. So they gave me oxycodone and Tylenol. And it was like every so many hours. Oxycodone and Tylenol help. They don't get rid of it. They don't make you feel relieved from the pain. It's just slightly left. What's your pain level? 10. First week. Oh, I had some good nurses. There were a couple of them I really liked. And one I didn't like so much, And why in all of Hades do you have to press the button at your, however many hours it is? I think it's 4 hours. Every 4 hours, you can get them. Beep, 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 beep. I need my pills. Nurse shows up an hour, it's an hour later than when you can have them. Like, that's called breakthrough pain. So it was this constant cycle. I'm like, I need my pills when I'm supposed to have them. Ugh. I don't understand that. They should have a way of knowing, okay, this patient needs their medication now, and this patient gets it now, and this patient gets it now, and come and give them their medication. They're handing you a cup with 2 pills in it. It's not that hard. I do not understand that. And I swear the one nurse was stealing my pills. I was in a ton of pain. She's the one that said, I can give you a shot of Dilantin. It'll make you sleep and you won't feel it anymore. Perfect. Like, the only time it didn't hurt was when I was asleep. I was in the hospital for 5 days. Let's see. 2 IVs. They put this thing on my back, and drainage would go down into a thing, some sort of cup thing. They would see it. It didn't have suction on it. Like some, they plug it in. This doctor said no suction. We just want the stuff that's naturally draining out of the back. I'm like, so it's this thing they put over the wound with the tube coming out. Well, I react to latex and adhesive. We'll come back to that. So they put that on, then they take it off, and they clean the wound, they put a new one on. That happened for 5 days. So they finally said, okay, you can go home. I was like, yay! I want to go home to my bed. My bed that I bought just for my back and neck. Because I tell you what, that bed was not comfortable in the hospital. It was terrible. I'm parked in a parking lot. And there is a peacock. So across from this parking lot, there's a wild place. They dump. It looks like there's concrete dumped there. There's all sorts of gravel, an old barn, old great big tanks that they use for oil, because I'm at my brother's place right now, where I'm staying. And they pump oil down here. So the old tanks, probably, who knows, there's probably an inch of oil left in the bottom. They're old, drained out on the ground, poisoning everything. Anyway, so these peacocks must have run away from a farm. And they come over here every day. They eat things they find. I really want to put out some bird food for them. Who knows what they're from? People buy a lot of bird seed. I'm at Menards. My wife works at Menards. I'm parked in the parking lot. And, people buy a lot of bird seed, dog food, things like that. They come over here every day. One day they're standing at the doors to the garden center, walked in front of it. Apparently they know how to go in there. They're looking in the door. I'm like, when those doors start working, those peacocks are going to walk right in there and look for something to eat. Oh, look, you drop stuff on the ground. They go eat that. It's a male and a female. They're definitely wild. His tail feathers they're just really torn up. They don't have the big eye, I've seen him do it, and he doesn't have those. I'm betting there's coyotes that chase after them. They do fly. I saw them fly yesterday. Anyway, back to my story. So, I went home. Oh my God. Pain. It's terrible. But there's no other, I've never cried from pain. I know about pain. Cried from pain. A couple times it was so bad that I just wanted to hug my wife and cry, and I did. Most of the times I cried was when I realized I can't reach my feet, I can't sit upright, You will learn new ways to do things. I've always been an independent person, and not doing things, not being able to do things. I mean, I'm on week 16, and it's going to take, my brother said it'd take a year, at least. He's 2 years out now, and he finally feels well enough, like he was working on his car. He was a mechanic, retired. It's really life-changing. It is completely life-changing to have an extreme multi-fusion. Most of the time, multi-fusion like this happens if you have spinal instability. And I do. No, this guy's trying to drive and there's peacocks standing there. People drive by here and get out their cameras. Click, click, click. They've never seen, peacocks in the wild. The female is greenish right here. The male is this cobalt blue. I mean, just stunning. They got the weird little things on their head. They're really fun to watch. And they will chase cats. There's a wild cat that comes over here. They see that cat, they corner him under a car. That was fun. I was watching that going, oh. That cat took off finally, like a bat out of hell. The devil was chasing him. No, it was a gigantic peacock chasing him. So, and why am I sitting in the parking lot of Menards? I own a huge van, an E350 extended, and I used it to carry all my tools, pull my camper with it. Well, it's the only vehicle we have. And I can't work, but she's working. So she's got the job right now. And my brother lives far enough out of town that at the 13 miles per gallon I get in this, it takes a gallon of gas, a gallon and about a quarter to get in here. So that's 2.5 gallons. We'll say 3, because sometimes it doesn't depends. Depends on the wind, depends on how I drive home, if we stop places, if it's cold and I'm starting the van. But anyway, if I were to bring her in, go back, bring her in, or come in and get her and go back, it costs money. And, I kind of don't mind sitting here. She does 4-hour shift. She's part of the stocking crew. I don't mind sitting here. It's my alone time. I'm like, no one's bothering me, especially my brother, who likes to talk to me nonstop. He's an old bachelor, and I think he's lonely. I'm like, well, you never got married. So you're lonely. He's figured out, though, that I'm kind of a introvert. I'm an introverted extrovert. That's a whole nother story. But, so my back. Second week. Well, first week. Okay, I was in the hospital for 5 days, come back. I was so itchy because I react to, everything. And where they put that thing on my back, you could see the glue lines were bright red and raised. Itchy? Oh my God, I just wanted to scratch my skin off. There's a picture of me laying in bed. They put socks on my hands and taped them on so that I wouldn't scratch my wound open. It's so bad. Because even though my wife would change the bandage every day, put a clean bandage with Tegaderm over it, man, did it itch. I was like, oh. I tried so hard not to scratch. Eventually, I contacted my doctor, my GP. I said, I am itching so bad, I'm going to scratch myself into infinity. Can you help? And she got me a prescription for some stuff. Hydroxyzine? That's what it is. Oh, that helped. Oh, thank goodness. Finally, that healed. Week 2. What's your pain level? 9. So, I was getting oxycodone and Tylenol. And it said you could take 2 every 4 hours. So I thought, I'll take 1 every 2 hours. Because at the 4-hour mark, I always felt like I was getting to breakthrough pain, like. Then it would take an hour, half an hour to an hour for it to do anything. So it was just. So I thought, okay, I'll take it. Maybe not the best idea. I did some research. I was having the weirdest oxy dreams, they're called. And I looked up and said, it builds up in your system. I'm like, oh, so they do it in 4 hours. Okay. So I had these oxy dreams where when you're asleep, your hands aren't supposed to work, your eyes are closed. The disconnect is supposed to happen. It wasn't disconnecting very well. So I remember waking up, I was dreaming about putting new outlets in the camper. And I realized my eyes were open and I was imagining putting the wire in and screwing it down and putting it in the wall. It was all this. I'm like, okay, this is not okay. Why is this happening? Must be that oxy. Oh well. I'll deal with it. Then that night, I had a dream. Okay, I don't have nightmares per se. I don't dream about monsters chasing me and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. I had a dream a monster was chasing me and my wife. And I'm like, in the dream, I look at her, you have to take off your shirt and throw it over there because the monster can smell us. And we have to run away from the monster. So this weird ass dream, right? I made her take her shirt off. She's like, okay, okay, okay. In my dream, but I was awake too. I mean, this is how weird it was. I'm like, I have to find my gun. I need my gun to shoot the monster. I have a handgun. Gotta find my gun. So when I was awake, I looked at her, I told her, I said, you have to hide the bullets. And she did. Because I'm like, and I realized after another day, I think a day passed, I'm like, I'm going to stop taking this. I'm not taking this anymore. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's bad what it does to your brain. I don't like it. So I went off it. Okay, that was 2 weeks. That was the 2-week mark. 2 weeks. I had DTs. The most pain, oh my God, it all came roaring back. I had 2 days of terrible pain, laying in bed, writhing around. It was awful. Oh, taking Tylenol. You can take 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. And I was taking them on the dot. Bing, 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 bing. Finally, I started feeling a little better. So I am only taking Tylenol. Oxy. Now, I'd taken Percocet, which is oxycodone with Tylenol, for years. But I never took it like that. Like, boom, boom, boom. It was always kind of an as-needed kind of thing for my neck. And my doctor trusted me. She gave it to me. She's like, you know, how many you got left from the last bottle I prescribed? Well, you prescribed 30. It's been months, and I think I have 5 left. She's like, okay. So she was willing, because I would use them when I was having major problems with my neck or my back or something. She did give me the last month before the surgery. I was in so much pain that she gave me a prescription. I didn't take them full time though. I'd like at bedtime is when I would take one because I was having trouble sleeping because I was in pain. So she gave it to me then. Oh, like, painful. Wow. So 3 weeks, not 4 weeks. So my friend, my best friend, he came out. He's like, I will watch. Why don't you go and stay in town at mom's? His mom, I've known her as long as I've known him, which is 40 years. She's like my extra mom. And so my wife went and put puzzles together, watched TV, did whatever they did together. Ate, blah, 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 was gone, and he stayed with me overnight. Okay, so my wife, she helps me with things, but she's very cool about it, you know, she's nonchalant, and she's not going to get excited. Anyway, she got to get away from me, like respite, you know, because it was never ending. I mean, I couldn't roll over. Getting out of bed was an exercise in pain. Thinking about getting out of bed was an exercise in pain. It was just pain. And also, I was like, can you rub my back or scratch my back or touch me or let me put my head on your arm, something? It was like the only thing that made me feel better was human contact. So if you have it done, make sure you have someone that's willing to give you human contact, because it's going to be the thing that makes you able to get through this without wanting to commit suicide. I kid you not. Oh, my Lord. Week 4. What's your pain level? Well, at the worst it's an 8, but sometimes it's 5. Well, that's not so bad. That's bad. Bad. To have that nonstop? I mean, I did not have a time when I wasn't in pain. Time starts going. Oh, so we're up in Iowa. State parks stay open all year up there. They don't guarantee they'll plow in the winter, but they're open and the electricity's turned on. So we were camped in a state park. And we had to move. You can't just stay indefinitely. They have rules about that. And I had to drive. I'm like, I can do this. I've been driving my whole life. And she did all the hookup. So here's how it works up there. If you stay 14 consecutive days, you have to leave the park for 3 days. They don't enforce something like that on if you stay 11 days, you can leave for 1 day and come back. So it's kind of playing the system, but they didn't mind. They just don't want you to keep staying. They want you to get out because then you take all your crap with you. And I know what it is. They don't want to come and see someone who's got a refrigerator sitting outside and, all the stuff. Like, yeah, I live here now. No. You have to leave. So we would pack up, and it's about, I don't know. I always think it's like 2 miles, but I realize it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 miles to the nearest little town that had a Walmart. And Walmart camping is fantastic. We do it when we go cross country. We have to stop at a Walmart. And I have an app, RV Parky, and people put in, okay, they said no staying at this one. So some Walmarts you can stay at, some you can't. And the reason you can't is because the city has an ordinance. That's usually the reason. That little town, they don't have an ordinance. They're fine with it. If you come park your camper in the back lot and then you come in and spend money, they're okay with that. So we'd go overnight. It was winter. Bit of water we use. It's good. So we went down there, and that's where we're parked now. And my wife, I'm like, you have to get a job. She's like, I know. When I come back, so normally it doesn't get really cold and snowy. I mean, Iowa has what they call a dry winter, meaning we don't get a ton of snow like Chicago gets or parts east, right? We get cold. But December in the last many years has been very mild. We had a super, oh my God, cold snap. It got down to like 15 below. I think the coldest one night, my gauge said 17 below. Whew. In a camper? They're not meant for that. This is a 3-season camper. It came out of Minnesota, so it's actually insulated underneath too. But when it's that cold and your walls are only this, so we had to move and then move back. Then it snowed. We actually had a white Christmas. Our Christmas was pretty small. We weren't spending any money if we could help it because I'm not working, and I made the majority of the money. My wife is a writer. I got her published, and we made a little bit of money this year off of her first novel, but not a lot. So we're running on fumes, so to speak. But luckily I have people that care greatly for me. That's pretty cool. They were willing to help. And then we knew we were going to go to my brother's. So I had my appointment up there, my next, the after appointment. And decided, okay, we're going to go to my brother's. Because I can park my camper there. It's good. So we went down there, and that's where we're parked now. And my wife, I'm like, you have to get a job. She's like, I know.